Hey everyone, welcome back to Edu Expert, your smart learning hub. America's worst fear is becoming reality, China rising. America's deepest anxiety today stems not from battlefields, but from Beijing's accelerating ascent, not merely as a formidable economic powerhouse, but as an integrated global force able to challenge U.S. hegemony across finance, infrastructure, and influence. Since the Cold War, confidence in the greenback's global authority and Washington's economic clout underpinned its role as a world leader. Yet, China's Belt and Road Initiative now extends Chinese influence from Africa to Asia, creating trade corridors and investment networks that threaten to erode traditional American alliances. At the same time, the U.S. is witnessing growing dependence on Chinese-made goods, from consumer electronics to rare minerals, fueling fears of supply chain vulnerabilities and economic coercion. Add to this the gradual erosion of faith in the dollar's invincibility, and you see a scenario that keeps Washington's policymakers awake at night. The fear is not simply of China gaining ground, but of America steadily losing its position as the unquestioned center of global economic power. China's military rise. China's rise is not confined to economics alone, it is unfolding with an equally powerful military transformation that directly unsettles America's long-standing dominance. For decades, Washington relied on its unmatched naval fleets, advanced fighter jets, and global military bases to project power across every ocean and continent. But Beijing's modernization program is rapidly rewriting that balance. The People's Liberation Army (PLA) now boasts the world's largest standing military, supported by cutting-edge advancements in stealth technology, cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, and hypersonic weaponry. China's fifth-generation stealth fighter, the J-20, is no longer just a prototype, it is mass-produced and operational, capable of rivaling America's F-22 and F-35 in contested airspace. Meanwhile, Beijing's hypersonic missiles, tested at record speeds, represent a nightmare for U.S. defense planners who admit America lags behind in this arena. At sea, China has built the largest navy in the world by sheer numbers, including state-of-the-art destroyers, aircraft carriers, and submarines. This naval power is concentrated in the South China Sea, where artificial islands now function as military fortresses equipped with runways, missile systems, and radar installations. Each of these moves is not simply defensive but a direct challenge to America's presence in the Indo-Pacific, a region long considered Washington's strategic stronghold. Even more alarming is China's integration of digital warfare and artificial intelligence into its military strategy. Unlike past rivals, Beijing is blending economic power, technological dominance, and military force into one unified front. For the United States, this is not just another challenger, it is a competitor with the resources, ambition, and vision to reshape global power dynamics. The question haunting U.S. policymakers is simple: can America maintain its edge, or has China already crossed the threshold of military parity? If America fears anything more than China's military power, it is Beijing's economic juggernaut. China has transformed itself into the world's manufacturing hub, producing everything from smartphones and solar panels to electric vehicles and advanced robotics. This dominance means that American companies, once symbols of unmatched global power, are now heavily reliant on Chinese factories and supply chains. Whether it is Apple assembling iPhones in Shenzhen or Tesla competing against BYD in the electric car market, U.S. corporations face a competitor that combines massive scale, low-cost efficiency, and technological innovation. China is also pushing aggressively into sectors once monopolized by the West: 5G telecommunications, artificial intelligence, and green energy. Huawei, despite U.S. sanctions, continues to expand in global markets, while Chinese electric car makers are already overtaking Western rivals in both price and performance. This economic momentum is reinforced by Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative, a trillion-dollar infrastructure program stretching across Asia, Africa, and Europe, giving China not just markets but also long-term strategic influence. At the heart of America's anxiety lies the possibility that the U.S. dollar may eventually lose its unchallenged dominance. More countries are trading in Chinese yuan, slowly chipping away at the dollar's supremacy as the world's reserve currency. For Washington, this is not just about economics, it is about losing the very foundation of its global leadership. If China succeeds, it won't need to fire a single shot to weaken the United States. Its economy alone could rewrite the rules of power in the 21st century. The United States, long accustomed to uncontested global leadership, is not standing idle in the face of China's meteoric rise. Washington has launched a multi-front strategy designed to contain Beijing's influence and slow its momentum. Militarily, the U.S. has reinforced alliances in the Indo-Pacific through initiatives such as AUKUS, a security pact with Australia and the United Kingdom that includes sharing nuclear submarine technology, and the Quad alliance with Japan, India, and Australia. These partnerships are aimed at surrounding China with a counterbalance of naval power and regional cooperation. Economically, the U.S. has struck at China's most sensitive industries, technology and semiconductors. Washington has imposed export restrictions on advanced chips, cutting off Beijing's access to the high-tech components vital for artificial intelligence and next-generation weapons. American officials hope this move will slow China's technological edge, buying time for the U.S. to maintain its advantage. At the same time, America has launched an aggressive information campaign, portraying China as a threat to democracy, cybersecurity, and global stability. This narrative is amplified through media, diplomacy, and pressure on allies to restrict Chinese firms like Huawei and TikTok. Large-scale military exercises in the Pacific, showcasing aircraft carriers, stealth bombers, and submarines, are meant not only to prepare for potential conflict but also to send a symbolic message: America still intends to lead. Yet despite these efforts, uncertainty lingers. While Washington mobilizes its alliances and wields economic sanctions, it remains unclear whether these actions can truly halt China's momentum, or if they are merely delaying the inevitable shift in global power. The great question shaping the 21st century is no longer whether China will rise, but whether America can remain on top as that rise continues. For decades, the United States has enjoyed unrivaled dominance, leading in military power, technology, and economic influence. But the speed and scale of China's ascent suggest that the world may be entering a new era where U.S. supremacy is no longer guaranteed. By 2030, many analysts predict that China's economy could surpass America's in size, shifting the balance of power toward the East. This scenario deeply unsettles Washington, as it would mean losing the economic leverage that has underpinned U.S. leadership since World War II. Militarily, the competition is evolving into what some call a new Cold War. Unlike the US-Soviet rivalry, however, China and America are deeply interconnected. Their economies, supply chains, and technologies are linked in ways that make open conflict catastrophic for both. This interdependence creates a paradox. While both nations prepare for confrontation, they remain bound by cooperation. The outcome of this struggle will not be decided by tanks or jets alone but by innovation, trade, and global alliances. The future may unfold in several ways. If the U.S. successfully rallies its allies, strengthens its technological edge, and preserves the dollar's dominance, it may keep its role as the primary world power. But if China continues to expand its influence through the Belt and Road Initiative, advances in artificial intelligence, and financial alternatives to the dollar, the global center of gravity could shift permanently toward Beijing. For ordinary people around the world, the result will affect everything, from the price of energy and food to access to technology and even the shape of global governance. Will the 21st century be remembered as the American century, Part 2, or will it be the dawn of a Chinese century? That is the defining question of our time, and its answer will determine not just the fate of two nations but the destiny of the entire world.